Coffee has a life, and you're probably drinking it at its worst. I was for the longest. I used to drink the coffee a couple days after roast. Didn't really know it at the time, but something about it, it just felt normal. You hear everything online, the chatters and all that stuff telling you to drink it as freshly as possible. I was telling people the exact same thing. Drink it as freshly as possible. Try to get what freshness tastes like. I wanted to get that for coffee. And through the years and through the times, I started to realize and start to see what other people were saying. And I thought it was bullshit. I was like, 3-4 weeks after roast? That's insane. That's probably just because it's going to take a while to get to you. And after it gets to you, then it's going to be more than anything settled down, right? I started thinking about that. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe that's where I need to be. But then as I started to experiment more, started to see it for what it is, I started to enjoy coffee even more so. And then I started pushing 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, and now I'm up to 4 weeks. There's a law of diminishing return here. It really is. But I guess what I'm saying is that sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Sometimes when you experience something, you think that you're doing everything right. And when we think about coffee, a lot of times, at least for me, I think about it more so the way it is right now. That makes any sense. When I get that bag of coffee, when I roast that bag of coffee or that coffee, I don't think so much about who made it for me, who grew it, who harvested it, the way it was processed. I don't really think about that as much. When I'm drinking that cup of coffee, I just think about the tasting notes, the smells. But I don't really know why it didn't matter to me before. But truthfully, when we think about it, coffee has a life, just like we have a life. And the last possible form of coffee is literally the best time to really have it. Yeah, you can have it as a fruit. I wouldn't tell you to eat coffee or anything like that. But I guess what I'm saying is that when we are presented with that coffee, that is literally the best application for it. And it's kind of ironic, actually. Now, after it's roasted, it's not the best time to actually have it. It's this crazy, wacky window of like, let it sit, let it rest for a couple of weeks. And then you can enjoy it. And each coffee is different. Lightly roasted, medium roast, dark roast, they're all different. But you have to pay attention to that. You have to be aware of the situations that you're in when you're actually drinking coffee. You have to pay attention. You have to be curious about the awesomeness of coffee, but also the detriment of coffee. That's the cool thing about coffee. It presents you this thing to where it has a whole personality of its own. And a lot of times, ironically speaking, it's telling us not to really enjoy it. Just wait a little bit. Just sit with it for a little bit longer. And when you sit with it a little bit longer, then that's when it starts to open up. Every brew is different, right? But when you are in that operating window of that coffee's life, it's just quite amazing. And I'm not saying that every coffee is going to be special. It's going to be great. I'm not saying that. I guess really what I'm saying is that you have to know when it's going to be the best for you. And for the most part, it's not a week out. It's not even 2 weeks out. Sometimes 3 weeks is still too young. And when you know that, and when you understand that, and when you express that in that coffee, you'll get better about the things and the decisions that you're trying to make with yourself. I had this Colombian coffee. It was special. It was magical. A nice medium roast. The notes just kept on singing. I caught it at the right wave. About 3.5 weeks off roast. It was spectacular. It just kept on changing at its cools. No matter which brewer I put it in, it was just magical. And then about the 5 or 6 week mark, something about it started to change. It started to feel dull. I knew something was wrong. It seemed like I knew that it was about to be the end. So I changed it up. One of the tricks I used to do for one of my other coffees is that I just made it stronger. So since 1 to 15 ratio wasn't working, I tried 1 to 12. It got a lot better. 1 to 10. There we go. And it was crisper. It was livelier than it was at 1 to 15 at that time. But it still wasn't at its peak. I'm so glad that I was able to cherish and love that coffee for what it was, for the time that I had it. Even though it did get better with the strength of the coffee, it still was dying. It still was losing its mustard. It was still not where it used to be. I sat with that for a while because I started to hoard this coffee, not really understand what was going on. And then once it got to the point of me actually seeing it for what it is, I realized that this is something that we have to pay attention to a lot more. We have to be curious about the lifespan and the tastiness and the lack of tastiness of the coffee throughout the brews that we do have with it. We have to really stay there. And what I mean there is in the present. There's so many parallels about coffee and life and how we experience it and how we enjoy it and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, we want to enjoy it at its best, not when it's at its worst. And even as I say, don't drink it 1 to 2, 3 weeks out, do realize that it's not going to be the same. 7, 8 weeks, depending on the coffee, depending on the situation, depending on how you actually hold your coffee, all that good stuff, right? It's a weird game we play. How it ebbs and flows, how it changes and all that stuff. And how we really get to have that time that we're actually experiencing it. But stay there and enjoy it and see for what it is. Because something about the freshness of coffee gives you that illusion of like, I'm going to have it when it's best. But a lot of times that's not the case. So that's what I want to leave you with. Just pay attention. See what that coffee is saying to you. Look at the roast date. See if it's too early, if it's too late. If it's too late, go ahead and start drinking it. Experience it. Enjoy it. Drink it with others. Drink it with yourselves. Try different recipes. Try different brewers and all that stuff. Experience it for what it is. And then when you do that, and when that coffee's, and you have just a couple of grams left, jot a couple things down. Sit there with it. Understand it. And then when you do that, you'll be ready to go on to the next bag with a newfound understanding, relief, education, and appreciation for that coffee. Also, write down the things that you don't like about it. Things that you do like about it. Things that was kind of weird and trippy in the beginning when you started to drink it. And how it really started to open up as the days and the weeks went by. Think about that. I know it's kind of hard because we live in life. We have other things and obligations that we're doing and trying to understand as best as we can. But at the end of the day, it's one of the gifts that we are given. And I think one of the tricky things about all of this is really understanding coffee for what it is. Because if we do, then we're just going to be in a better place. And I want to leave you with this. Just cherish it. Just enjoy it. Just love it. Care for it. Understand that the life that it has is given to you. I mean, coffee, your life too. And as it changes, just be there with it and experience it for what it is. So that's what I got for you. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think about the coffee's lifespan? Are you one of the ones who drink it early? Have you started to realize that it's a little bit better as you give it time? Let's talk about it. Let me know what you think about that. Or do you drink it 4 or 5 weeks later? You know? Talk to you later. Bye.